UFG family, what up, Dole? Welcome to the crib. Welcome to another episode of the UFG podcast. As you guys can see, I have my beautiful wife Lily here as my co-host this episode.
What's up,
and
everybody?
We're going to discuss The Last Dance episodes 3 and 4. If you guys previous listen, we already dissected episodes 1 and 2, which is to this day our highest listening episode, highest view listening on Spotify podcast. So thank you guys for tapping in with us and for following us along, reliving this journey. So, and everybody know how much I love MJ, how much I love this Last Dance documentary. It's probably my favorite documentary of all time. So let's get right into episode 3. So episode 3, if you guys remember, episode 3 starts off highlighting Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
For you guys who don't know who Dennis Rodman is, the Worm, one of the greatest defenders of all time, one of the greatest rebounders of all time, out of Southeast Oklahoma State. His journey to the NBA wasn't the most ideal journey that you would say.
I would say
the traditional journey.
Yeah.
He wasn't he wasn't a blue chip athlete coming out of high school and had all these letters. Actually, when Rodman graduated high school, he was 5'11", and he had a growth spurt. He was working at an airport in Texas, and not in Texas. I think it was he's born in New Jersey, so I forget where the airport was, but he had a growth spurt, and he grew to 6'7", from 5'11" to 6'7". That's a heck of a growth spurt.
Yeah.
And then after that growth spurt, he already was athletic. So a friend of the family had put him on to some small college in Texas, where he played for a year. And he did pretty well, but academically, he didn't fit the bill. So he dropped out, kind of lived with his friends here and there a little bit. And then he got a coach on the Southeast Oklahoma State roster noticed him. I think he was playing pickup ball somewhere, and they noticed him. He got a scholarship there, he did, 3 years of college, 25 and like 16 a game. That's 25 points, 16 rebounds a game. And he was drafted in the second round, pick 27 by the Detroit Pistons in 86, I think it was. Is that 86? So, yeah, 86. So, that's just kind of giving a background on the Worm. The Worm was a very integral part of the Bulls. But before that, he was an integral part of the Pistons, the bad boy Pistons. Yeah. So, what do you think about the Worm when you seen his journey and how he got to where he got to? When you look at the Worm and you look at these athletes today who proclaim they're the greatest this and that since sliced bread, how do you feel about the Worm?
Man, it's like no comparison. It's night and day. Watching this documentary really made me appreciate more the hustle players, if you will. We'll get to it as we go along the actual episode and like what they show in the episode, but it's just really amazing how he was a student of the game. Mm-hmm. And I truly appreciated that of him because he was always learning. So when watching this episode in particular, what we dubbed the Dennis Rodman episode, mm-hmm. So it starts off with, him working out in the gym, the episode, if you will. Starts with him working out in the gym, and I put a note here that he's working out in his pajamas.
Right. Dude was hooping in pajamas, man.
He's in his pajamas.
Probably hung out like the night before everything.
And, so I had put that funny note here. So, he starts off by saying that he understood his value on the Bulls team. Mm-hmm. And that people couldn't say that he was a bad teammate. He had his antics. He had the things that he had to do, which we'll get more into, but at the same time it was like he was still a good teammate and nobody can talk bad about that. So learning more about Dennis Rodman throughout this episode and just doing my research for the podcast, it really truly made me appreciate that he was the best, and there's no comparison to the other players today, which is not knocking them. Because, they put their own work.
You're the best. It ain't even
you're the best.
You know what I'm saying? That's not a knock to somebody else who's good.
Yeah.
You just not as good as him.
Right.
That's it.
That's it.
And the thing I loved about it, like you, of course, I witnessed those years when the Worm was with the Pistons. You know, being from Detroit, you know, y'all know my story and everything. Whole family are Piston fans. Everybody I grew up around Piston fans, you know, and I grew up in the bad boy era. So I witnessed the Worm when he was just like ridiculous. So in that episode, he says like in college, now mind you, in college, this guy averaged, and it was like a NAIA school he went to. So it was a lower tier Division 2. I want to say NAIA is probably Division 2, maybe even Division. No, it's not Division 3. I played Division 3. So, but anyway, the school that he played for, Southeast Oklahoma State, it's a lower tier college. You know what I'm saying? So it's not knocking that school, but it's just the way it is. He averaged like 25 and 16 a night.
Yeah, that's
still, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's pretty good on any level, right, if you ask me. Yeah. So as a basketball player, that's pretty good. So with that being said, he gets drafted second round to the Pistons. They already have Isaiah Thomas. They already got a squad. He's young. He's coming in. He decided, I'm going to perfect rebounding and defense.
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
And when he talks about he had his boys in the gym with him and he would just have them shoot. Like he not even shooting. He'll have them shoot and he getting the rebound. And being that, like Lily, to echo her, she said that he was a student of the game. Mm-hmm. And for anybody that's young and that's listening, that has aspirations to play basketball on a high level, maybe Division 1, maybe the professional level, or whatever level that you play on, being a student of the game, it's not just about talent. A lot is mental. Mm-hmm. And being a student of the game is just not it's just not a phrase, a cliche. Mm-hmm. No, it's real. You know, so Rodman showed how much of a student of the game he is by learning different stars' shot.
Yeah.
He knew how when Magic Johnson missed a shot, how it spins off the rim, or Michael Jordan, his rotation has a backspin, so it's going to hit the rim like this. Larry Bird, his shot is like this, so it's going to hit the rim like this. So he mastered that. Mm-hmm. And that's why the Worm was like he was, man.
He said because he was like a rash. He just you.
Man. Yeah. So he perfected defense and rebounding. So that's hustle. Mm-hmm. Like that's not, it has some height, some athleticism for sure, but 90% of that is hustle. That's heart. Mm-hmm. That's what's in here. Mm-hmm. And that really helps you. If you are a basketball purist and you love basketball, you can't do nothing but respect that. That's somebody that sees a craft and perfects his craft and then elevates it and just, continue to perfect it. We can say the same with Steph Curry and shooting. Mm-hmm. We can say the same with a lot of different superstars that's transcendent, that's generational talent. So we go on. Didn't you? Oh, you wanted to expound on him having his boys come in there and shoot off the ring. You know what I'm saying? His rebounding.
We can get into that. However, when it came to the episode, let's backtrack just a little bit and let's talk about what's happening in the episode, so just in case people have never seen it before. Mm-hmm. So, excuse me. In the beginning of the episode, after they introduced Dennis Rodman, he's working out in his pajamas. He's saying how nobody can call him a bad teammate. It goes into the warm-up for the Indiana game in November of 97. So this is 97. And, Jordan, he's tired of talking about Pippen's antics. It's all this kind of stuff that's going on.
And again,
Pacers win.
This is the year that Scottie decided they just coming off winning their 5th title. Mm-hmm. This is the second. This is the third. Well, this is the last dance year.
Yeah.
So it's after they repeat in the second three-peat year season. So keeping in mind that there's no Scottie at the beginning of the season. Right. Like Lily said, this is the beginning of the season. MJ is kind of exhausted about answering questions about Scottie because Scottie decided to get the surgery at the end of the season willfully. Right. He said he wouldn't have changed anything anyway, whatever. And the Bulls had a rough start, man. They had a really, really rough start.
Yeah, the Pacers ended up winning that game. Yep. And,
Was that the game that Rodman got ejected?
I didn't.
And he came to MJ room after that?
No. I don't think that's that game. No. So, and they're talking about how the Pacers win that game. They're talking about the lack of rebounds that was happening in that game. And who do we point the finger when there's a lack of rebounds? Hey. It had to be Dennis Rodman, right? So now there was a clip in there where he's talking to the ref, right? And the ref almost admits that he looks the other way when other people are fouling Dennis. But and then he's like, but I see all the things that you do. So in a sense, it was like, so you see Rodman's his reputation, right? And for the ref to almost admit something like that to him, that triggered something, right? So Jordan, they go to his interview, and he's expressing how he needed Dennis to step up his game because Scottie wasn't playing, and he needed him to be accountable.
He needed help, man.
So when you were right. When he gets kicked out of the game, Dennis realized, like, man, I messed up. I need to be here for my guys, because he hadn't really accepted that Scottie wasn't coming back yet. So he was still kind of like goofing around, if you will, messing around, or not really taking it to the level that everybody else knew, or Jordan in particular knew he was capable of. So they go, now it's the Knicks game, December of 97. I did some research. The Bulls win. They go on a run, right? The Bulls win 100-82. Dennis had 9 rebounds, with 7 of them being defensive rebounds. Okay, that was the highest of that game. Then they go on to play the Nets, 100-92. He had 24 rebounds. 18 of those was defensive. And then the Bulls versus Heat, they win 90-80. He had 13 rebounds, 9 of which were defensive.
Right.
So he was on it. He was like, okay, I'm going to take this responsibility. Scottie's not coming back. Jordan said he needs me. Boom.
But
let's go.
At the end of the day, you got to look at, too, that what I loved about Rodman, the Worm, is that he was accountable.
Yeah.
He knew he left Jordan hanging, and that's when he said he didn't necessarily apologize and kiss MJ, but he went to MJ's room that night and he asked for a cigar. MJ was like, man, Rodman don't smoke no cigar. So
right.
MJ knew it was like that
piece, that white flag.
They knew each other, and MJ had respect for that. And MJ spoke very highly of the Worm, man, in his years with Chicago. So, yeah, I mean, those games, he, walked the walk and talked the talk. And they like they say in the episode, Dennis was straight like an arrow. Yep. He wasn't getting in trouble anymore. He was on it like
white on rice, man.
He was focused
on it.
And that's the dynamic of having a great player like MJ and seeing how much he gives. He's just not being a crybaby like, oh, I don't got no help. We need some help. We top heavy. We did. He's not crying. He's literally like, I'm frustrated. I need y'all to step up.
Right.
And with him giving his all, what can you do? You got to be like, all right, I need to step up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And y'all are working on y'all 3rd championship in a row. So it's like y'all trying to make history. Like, come on.
Let's get to it.
So, that's very, very dope. So, Dennis, so now back to the episode, it really highlights how it kind of, you guys have seen The Last Dance, it kind of jumped from years to years or whatever. So
like flashbacks.
Yeah. So it kind of goes back to his days in Detroit. And, the Bad Boys era was coached by Chuck Daly. Chuck Daly is a Hall of Fame coach. He brought 2 rings here to Detroit. And Coach Daly loved Dennis Rodman. Dennis Rodman was a coach's dream. He was young. He was energetic. He focused on defense. He was low maintenance, and he had that blue collar, just like
people
the
call
Pistons.
him naive about life when he was drafted to the Pistons.
He was such
naive.
like John Sally said, he was such a pure, he'll go out look at the stars like, oh man, and then what a freaking extreme he goes to. You know what I'm saying? Like he go from that being so pure to like Dennis Rodman wilding out. But we'll touch on that a little bit more through the episode.
Because they asked him, they said, was he a troublemaker out in court?
He didn't develop that.
He said no. And he said that he built his reputation that we know of him now in Detroit.
The Worm probably was hanging out on 7 Mile Greenfield, man, after the game, and he just started turning up. Like he was on the east side. He was over there by Persian just tripping. But no, I'm just joking. So, he loved, Coach Daly loved him. Then Chuck Daly loved Dennis Rodman because of his focus, as I alluded to. So now as we go through, now the episode kind of peels back it kind of pauses on Dennis Rodman. Now they go into Doug Collins.
Mm-hmm.
So
86.
Doug Collins was the coach after Stan Albeck. Stan Albeck either got fired, resigned. They brought in Doug Collins. He was there from 86 to 89.
Mm-hmm.
And those years, 86 to 89, the Bulls elevated. Stan Albeck had the Bulls before he the coach that was on the staff that drafted MJ. Mm-hmm. So before MJ, you know, that squad was, it was horrible. And then,
you don't remember nothing from those days.
Yeah, you don't hear nothing about Chicago Bulls before.
Right, 86.
You know, you got Dave Corzine, Orlando Woolrich, you know, Charles Oakley. You know, you had some of the older Bulls that's not even, you know, a lot of y'all probably don't even recognize who I just said, you know. Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, Doug Collins and Michael Jordan had a strong bond.
Yeah.
And
he says he was like a breath of fresh air, and that he was an easy coach to play for.
So Doug Collins' first game as a head coach, right? They playing the Knicks. They're in Madison Square Garden. He said he was just so nervous. He chewed his gum till it became a powder around his lips. Mm-hmm. He was sweating like crazy. And he said while he's sitting there with the powder, you know, the Tyrone Bigums, he got the Tyrone Bigums lips. And Michael Jordan leaned over and gave him a cup of water. He said he just felt he's so zoned in. He said he just feels somebody tap him on the shoulder, give him a cup of water like a coach. Clean that stuff off your face. Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna let you lose your first game.
Right.
And MJ didn't. MJ
Chills.
dropped 50.
Yep.
And they got the W. So just that kind of greatness, man, it gives you chills when you see that, man. And it's just, you know, and Doug Collins to this day still speaks very highly of MJ. I mean, who wouldn't, man? Yeah. I mean, he coached the guy for 3 years. So 86 through 89, MJ won the scoring title. MJ won the dunk championship. He won the league MVP, the All-Star MVP. And he was Defensive Player of the Year. You know, like that. For him to do that under your reign as a coach, you know, yeah.
Yeah, it goes both ways.
I mean, you know, so... Great. Yeah, so he was, you know, he was a breath of fresh air, like my wife said, man.
So, MJ had said a little story about how Collins was as a coach, and he said that he always wanted to maintain that competitiveness, so that he would. So during practice, he would start MJ. Yeah. You know, with the starting five, and then they'd be beating on the second team, and then he'd switch them mid-game.
MJ get pissed, like, all right.
But I mean, I think that really helped, you know, them in those 3 years.
That really sharpened his competitive edge.
Yeah.
And Doug Collins was smart for doing that. Mm-hmm. And I think in the story you alluded to, so they switched him over. And then MJ brought the losing team back, but Doug Collins cheated on the score. Yep. MJ got pissed and left practice.
And everybody, like, the media heard about it, and they were like, "Oh, you know, there's rift between the coach and MJ." And he's like,
the next day, the press comes up to Doug Collins, like, "What's up with you and MJ?" And he's like, "Michael," and Michael comes up, kisses him on the cheek. See, we're all good. So it was a good relationship between you know MJ and Doug Collins, but.
Yeah, so they go on to talk about how the Cavs and the Bulls were the real contenders, coming contenders when it came to challenging the Pistons at the time. So they, you know, they're going at it. And
so this is keep it in mind. This is 1989.
Yes, this is 1989. This is 89, and they're stating how the Cavs had a squad. Bulls obviously have their squad. This is 1989. Pistons is on it.
And then the Cavs squad.
Let's run down the numbers on that.
See, 89, that was the shot, the year of the shot, you know. So 89, you know, the Cavs had Mark Price, they had Craig Elo, they had Ron Harper, they had Hot Rod Williams, they had Brad Daugherty, they had Larry Nance. Like, they had a squad. Yeah. Now, according to MJ, that year in 89, they would play their divisional, because they're in the same division back then, the Central Division. They're in the same division. They will play your division rival 6 times.
Now it's 4.
And right? Yeah, it's 4 now, but it used to be 6.
He said 6
and they beat them all. Like the Cavs beat the Bulls all 6 games in the regular season.
Yep.
So now you fast forward to the playoffs. In the first round, it was back then. It was back then in the playoffs, it was the best 3 out of 5
Yeah.
to advance to the second round.
Yeah.
So here we go. We're in the playoffs.
89 playoffs, right?
Yep, 89
and
playoffs.
Bulls win game 1. The Cavs win game 2. Bulls win game 3. 4 the Cavs, and then now this is game 5.
No. So rewind.
Oh, okay.
So
let's rewind.
2-1. The Bulls are up 2-1 in game 4. So they 2 wins, 1 loss. All they need is one more game. Game 4, MJ at the line. MJ missed the free throws.
Yeah, he misses the free throws.
So he missed the free throws, and they were in Chicago. So that's a pivotal game. You could have closed the door 3-1 on the Cavs, but he missed the free throw. So all y'all who out there that like to degrade MJ's accomplishments and talk down on him, he missed shots too. You know what I'm saying? We as fans, we understand the game of basketball. That's y'all, disillusioned,
the analysts always want a
pure
perfect game.
fanboys that act like we treat MJ like he never made a mistake. Dude missed the free throw, but how did he redeem himself?
Yeah.
So 2-2, game 5 in Cleveland. Everybody wrote them off though.
It's a constant battle. It's back and forth. Jordan hits a jumper with 6 seconds left. Then the Cavs come back and make a layup.
Hit the layup.
And now the Bulls are down 1, right? There's 3 seconds left. Jordan acknowledges that Harper played better defense on him.
Yeah, Ron Harper is
Elo
built more like Jordan. And Ron Harper is like 6'5", 6'6", athletic. You know what I'm saying? Ron Harper was good back then, man.
And the coach tells Harper, Harper tells the coach, I got MJ. Coach is like, Elo, you go on MJ.
Elo on him.
He was like, man, forget that. Harper was like, man, forget that.
Yeah, he was upset about that.
Right. And then, so Elo is on Jordan, right? It's 3 seconds left. And we know what happens next.
Yeah, the shot. The shot happens. And to see MJ, the passion, when he hit that shot.
He's like, fist
y'all go home. He's telling all because the reporters, y'all got to understand, back in that time, so think about y'all little fanboys like Nick Wrights and your Shannon Sharps, and they just like writing you off like, oh yeah, the Cavs beat the Bulls 6 times in regular season, so the Bulls going to get swept. That's how they would talk. Okay, then they didn't get swept, so you knock off 1. Then another reporter like, yeah, they going to beat them in 5. Nope, they ain't beat them in 4. In 4. Nope. Now they gonna beat him in 5. MJ hits that game-winning shot. He like, oh, y'all get the blankety blank out of here. Blankety blank, 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 blank. You know what I'm saying? So, and to see that passion,
man,
I know
inspiring.
How that feels, man. When somebody don't believe in you, but you see something or you have a grasp on something that is real to you, but somebody from the outside don't believe in you and they write you off or they talk down on you or they just, and then when it just comes to fruition, that feeling like, you know what I'm saying? You just lose it. Yep. I know how that feels. So it kind of gets me emotional and I get chills when I see that. And I done seen that the shot so many millions of times. I even did a reel with my son on my Instagram page. So it's like, dude, to see that in that time and day, that was amazing, man. Yeah. That was really amazing.
And then, so when the game is over, everyone's excited. You hear somebody, you stuck it, Michael, you stuck it.
He was like, yeah.
And then he just leans over in pure exhaustion.
Yeah.
And it was like, you can tell that man gave it his all that game. And he was not, he refused to lose that game.
Yeah, man. And it's stuff like that to show that he had the gall and the courage to take the shot too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never gonna make the shot. So just a little sidetrack about inspiration. Be inspired by things. Find the inspiration in everything. You know what I'm saying? Like with that shot, if MJ never took that shot, or if he would have passed it, then how would that moment would have never happened for him. And I'm sure that when you do things like that, you check the boxes or you get little benchmarks, not little, but you get benchmarks in your career, whatever vein you're in, whether you're in content creation, whether you're in, you're an artist, you whatever you're doing, when you check these benchmarks, that gives you more confidence and that gives you more delusion. Yeah. So you can continue in your journey, man. So always find the inspiration in these things. So after the shot, monumental, the bread force will always be, just think, if MJ was wearing them bread fours and he got swept and never did nothing,
do you think they
would
have
the
that
bread
much
fours
impact?
still have the same effect? You feel me?
Probably
Like
not,
if MJ
yeah.
averaged 10 points a game, would any of his silhouettes have the same effect? So you gotta think, maybe if you know, hype beasts were back then and they just hype stuff up and gas stuff up for no reason, but you know, really what it boils down to is what he did for the game of basketball on an international level. So
It was great, man.
and was great. So after the shot,
They fast forward.
they fast forward to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah.
Now they're in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Bad Boys in 1989.
My gosh.
And, you know, the Bulls went up 2-1.
Yeah.
They was up 2-1 on the Bulls. And then Chuck Daly, he just like, look, Jordan rules.
Jordan rules.
Let's beat him down. You know, and the way Brendan Malone, who was the assistant coach for the Pistons back then, you know, the way he implemented the Jordan rules, it was more so to force him to his offhand, which this whole thing, Jordan can't go left, this new little trend. Like some of y'all
They
are
thought
just,
it was for a while.
some of y'all
but
are
no.
lazy with your arguments, bro. Like stop it, bro. So you think he just made his whole career averaging 37 points in the 82 game season, just going right the whole, man, y'all are, I swear, some of the arguments and some of the stuff that these people think of to take away or water down MJ's accomplishments to highlight another basketball player is so lame, it's juvenile, it's just whack, bro. So anyway, you know, the Jordan rules, like Brendan Malone said, force him to his offhand, which is left, and don't let him go baseline, and you know, get him at the elbow and trap him.
Yeah.
That's basketball. That's basketball IQ.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's a great defensive, you know what I'm saying, scheme. That's a great defensive scheme. So when you got that going on in games 4 through 6, and then they say, hey, if he get in the air,
that's it.
Hit him.
Hit him.
Make him, you know, and he took a beating, bro.
And they explained in the episode how the hatred between Chicago and Detroit was, and Mike says that he hates them to this day. So it's on site
to this day. To this day. You know what I'm saying? Like
with Jordan and
man,
Pistons,
you know what I'm saying? The thing about it, MJ, I know MJ probably never see this episode, but if you ever just listen to this episode, bro, man, I was one in Detroit that loved you, bro. You know what I'm saying? I know you probably hate Detroit. If he probably hears something to this day, a business venture in Detroit, like, he probably be like, nope. You know, that's probably why we don't get good J's here and stuff, man. But anyway, you know what I mean? That hate just run deep, and that kind of go with what I was saying. Like, I am not embellishing when I said it, you know, like Michael Wilbon, he's from Chicago, but he has family in Detroit.
Said, I don't even want to
and he was like, in that time frame, people, he didn't even want to talk to his family in Detroit. I mean, this is guy's family. I'm telling you, it ran deep. I am not embellishing, bro. I got chased home from school. It was for real, bro.
Teams,
it was real.
Two cities in general.
2 cities. It went beyond basketball.
Yeah, it was
like kids. I mean, like, dude, I'm in like 6th, 7th grade. Kids want to beat me to a pulp because I brought a broom to school because I'm a Jordan fan, and everybody in my school was Piston fans. So,
man, so you know, as we know, they ended up losing.
They put a beating on
series.
MJ, man.
And you know,
he shook hands still.
Yeah, he still shook hands. Cartwright and Jordan, they admitted that they just weren't ready.
That's just not the way it was done.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that.
Hold on.
And
shut up.
They admit that they weren't ready for the Pistons.
Yeah, they was just
they knew it.
And then the Pistons, bro, in their defense, it was their time. Everybody has their time.
This is 89.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody has their time. So the Pistons, they eliminated the Bulls 4-2. They was down 2-1. They won 3 straight. See you later, Chicago. They go to LA and sweep the Lakers. They 4-0'd the Lakers. But mind you, just to give a little backstory, the year before that, in '88, the Lakers beat the Pistons in the finals. And I think the Pistons took them to game 6 or 7. And Isaiah had a broken ankle. He had chipped a bone in his ankle or something like that. And he played through it. And he was killing it.
He was hungry. He wanted that. Yeah.
You know, it was some really, really bad calls, bro. Yeah. You know, but this is not the episode for the Bad Boys. We will get to a Bad Boys episode. But that was the year before. So they were hungry. The Pistons were like that team, like, hey, we getting back to the finals. So they came back, they beat the Bulls, and then they swept the Lakers. Yeah.
So now in the episode, now it's fast forwarding to February of 1993, right? We're going kind of back to Rodman's story.
Yeah. So it's tapping in back with Dennis Rodman.
Yeah. So in February of 1993, the cops were called because there was some.
I remember this
like,
too.
Rodman was showing signs of mental instability to his friends, to his family, and so the cops were called and they found him asleep in the parking lot with a gun.
But he had a shotgun in
the passenger side.
In the passenger seat of his truck.
He even says in the episode that he was in the parking lot with the gun, and thankfully he fell asleep. Thankfully. Yeah. So he fell asleep, and whatever his thought process was at the time, going there with that gun.
Yeah, he was gonna do himself.
He said he was really lost at that place in time.
Yeah, he was gonna do himself.
You know, they kind of so they talk about that. You know,
and then too, Chuck Daly was no longer the coach anymore in '93, and Chuck Daly had kind of that father-son mentor relationship with Rodman.
Yeah, he understood.
Now that
Rodman
Chuck was gone,
he was lost.
You know what I'm saying? You know, Dennis was lost, and then he was dealing with. I remember because I grew up in that era, and I remember that I was on the news. I remember that in '93. And I think what was happening, I was too young to really understand the magnitude and the details of it. Because back then, I'm 14, 15 years old in 93. And I remember he was having issues with his daughter's mom. He got a daughter named Alexis. Because I remember he used to get her name but cut in his head. You know, when he was getting his hair cut, he'll have Alexis, you know, in his head. So I think it was something he was going through on that personal type level to affect him to that magnitude, and he probably felt that he didn't have nobody to turn to. You know, Chuck Daly, that mentor, was gone. The Pistons team was quite different at that time. Yeah. So the Bad Boys
did Isaiah already retire by this time?
I think Isaiah was gone.
He was done in '92, right?
Yeah, I think Isaiah was gone. I think Sally was gone. Sally and Mahorn was definitely gone. You know, so it was a dynamic that he was, like you said, he was mentally unstable.
Yeah.
So you know, fast forward, they ship him off. They catch him. Of course, he didn't commit suicide, but they ship him off to San Antonio.
Yeah.
And that's when he met Madonna, and he dyed his hair blonde, and he just started.
He became more expressive and eccentric. We'll say that.
Wilding.
He said he felt like a kid again. He just was. I think, and
tattoos.
I think at that point, because he was kind of like crying out, you know, like you said, he kind of lost his father figure in Chuck Daly. He lost his older brothers, if you will, you know, because Isaiah retires, like you said, everybody's gone. The people he got drafted in with, you know, like everybody's kind of gone. He's not in the right place. He meets Madonna. Madonna's like, hey, just do you.
Yeah, and then she like, be crazy, be a rock star. So now Dennis Rodman has this rock star persona.
Yes, he's dyeing his hair.
Partying like crazy, piercing. Here come the piercings on the lip and the nose.
Ejected of games.
Tattoos.
Just, you know,
he's on the side. He's doing naked photo shoots where he holding a ball over his area and
with makeup on,
like women makeup, like that kind of makeup, like blush and liner and like what the heck.
And
you know what I'm saying?
He was being very expressive and eccentric at the time, and he was developing who we know, you know, Dennis
I'm gonna say it, bro.
Be.
It was Madonna's fault, bro.
Okay. So
that was on Madonna, bro.
So anyway,
I'm not lying. Y'all who grew up in that time, y'all remember.
October of 1995, you know, let's talk about how Rodman was coming to the Bulls, basically. Yeah. So he's meeting Phil Jackson for the first time. Phil Jackson said that their first meeting went horrible.
Yeah, right? They was at Jerry Krause' house.
It went horrible. He's not standing up to greet Phil Jackson. Just kind of being disrespectful.
He don't know no better,
right.
man.
I was about to say, he don't know no better.
Yeah.
So, you know, he kind of just, and then they say, do you want to come play for the Bulls? He's like, sure, whatever.
What's up? Let's go. You know, like, what's up? Yeah, let's go. Whatever.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, whatever. I guess. We can do that, I guess. So he kind of had that. I think that's just Dennis' attitude.
Yeah, I mean, when you coked up or you drugged out, bro, and you not sober a lot of the time, and then it's the off season, so you know he was just on that tip. You don't care. You don't have feelings for that. You just probably think about the next, strip club, the next, bump, whatever your vice is. You thinking about that. You don't care about. That's why he's like, I don't care. Whatever. But that was the perfect mesh, man.
Yeah.
Because Phil Jackson knew how to speak his language.
Yeah.
Phil Jackson knew how to get through to him. Mm-hmm. Like he said when he got there, he told him, stand up and shake my hand. And, and he did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dennis did it because he needed that guidance, that firm figure in him. Like, hey, I understand you want to be rock star, you want to be ladies man and do all these things, but look, I'm the coach. You come to play for my team,
right? And you show that respect,
right?
When you come play for this team.
So and he did, and he did. So credit to Phil Jackson, man. Phil Jackson, as y'all can see, Phil Jackson. His episode was more so they detail him more in the fourth episode. Yeah, so we're at the tail end of episode 3. So it kind of goes back to when they signed him. Mm-hmm. And Jordan he was such a great fit,
player.
Huh? Yeah.
Jordan said he was the smartest player.
I was about to say that. MJ named Dennis as one of the smartest players he ever played with. Mm-hmm. So that's because of defensive IQ. He knew where to be at. And again, as we, kind of segue back to the beginning of this episode when we were saying how much Dennis was, studied the game.
Everything.
So that shows his smarts and, his ability to retain and act, read and react. Mm-hmm. So now the episode fast forwards to the 98 season. Y'all know how the episode kind of jumps around to tell a story, which I thought was beautiful. It wasn't chronological. It was based on stories.
Right, yeah.
So that's how the episode kind of jumps around. So now we fast forward back to the current time of the documentary, which is 98, the last dance year. And this is when Scotty was just returning. So the Bulls had that rough start. Mm-hmm. They were like 8 and 9. So they had a rough start, and you got to think this is a back-to-back champion. We got 5 rings. We got Michael Jordan. So 8 and 9 to them is like, what the heck are we doing?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So they're 8 and 9. They go on this run when Dennis Rodman
did all the
he gets
the
on
stats
board.
they ran off earlier.
So they go 16 and 2.
Yeah.
So now they're 24 and 11. Now Scotty comes back. 35 games in, they're 24 and 11. Scotty's back.
Yeah.
So now the worm is feeling a little bit alienated because Scotty, no matter how much I joke and talk trash about Scotty, but Scotty was very, very, as MJ said, that was his greatest teammate of all time. Scotty was very important to that organization.
Yeah.
So when Scotty came back, that took a huge load off of MJ. And now MJ and Scotty is back, Batman and Robin. And now, Rodman is in the back. So now Rodman I need to wild out.
Yeah.
I need to wild out. I need to wild out, y'all. Y'all got to let me go.
I need to go do this stuff. So the episode is ending with them talking about Rodman's quote-unquote vacation.
His vacation. Man, so they, and the dope thing about that documentary, that episode, that specific part, is when they show, they record MJ, who's describing that moment.
Yeah.
And they show it to Phil, Dennis, and Scotty. While MJ, and you could tell that it was 100% authentic because all of them, they was looking at it like, and Dennis Rodman is cracking up. He was like, yeah, I had to go to Vegas. This dude wanted to go to Vegas in the middle of a season. Now, we're not at the All-Star break.
Right.
We're this December, January.
Yeah, this is January.
This the middle of the season, bro. Like, what are you doing? He's like, I need to go to Vegas 48 hours. MJ like, Phil, you let him go to Vegas for 48 hours, he ain't coming back.
Yeah, he ain't coming back.
And
that's how it ends.
To Vegas. He went to Vegas, dog. So, but the thing about it is, I had made a note. I said they understood how to treat Dennis and to support his bizarre behavior.
Yeah.
And that was made them the greatest team ever.
Yeah.
Because even though Dennis was crazy, he'll party hard, but he playing hard too. He gonna give you his heart, his everything.
And they talk about that a lot in episode 4.
So that was the end of episode 3. So, episode 3 was a good episode
Yeah.
for me. Episode 4 is one of my favorites, but I think episode 5 is my favorite out of the 10.
Out of the 10.
So I like 5 and I like 10, of course, because
Yeah.
that's when MJ got the cigar. He played the piano like, I told y'all, I'm the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so episode 4 opened with the worm being AWOL.
So they said
Away
that
without Lee.
They gave him 24 hours. They gave him 24
No,
hours.
they gave him 48 hours.
48 hours. With permission.
Yeah, with permission. And then it was like, like if y'all remember how the episode come on, it's got the, I don't want to be a player.
So,
no, I'm not a player. I just crush a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Big pun. And it's like, yeah. And it showed the hours, he just gone.
He gone. And
you
they
know what I'm
showing
saying?
his parties.
So,
he's at nightclubs. He's at here. He's over there.
Yeah,
they
he all
interviewed
over.
Carmen Electra.
Carmen
and she's
Electra.
talking about how much of a hazard it was to be his girlfriend. And so they're just partying, right? They're partying, they're partying, they're partying. And it's, oh my God, it was just like.
My thing is, Carmen Electra, you're his girlfriend. You don't think in your head like, babe.
No.
Don't you gotta, after the first 2 days, you'll probably be like, oh yeah, that was fun, but don't you gotta go back to work?
No, he ain't
like,
thinking that.
She just like, come on, let's go.
Let's go party.
She was like, I didn't even realize that he had to work. And it's like, what? Dude's an NBA player on the greatest team ever. Like, how you don't know? It's January. He has to play basketball.
So they, Jordan is like, nope, we had to go pick him up.
Yep, he had to go get him out of bed, like physically.
And you know what?
Jeez.
Now that I think about it, I think when he comes back from that Vegas trip, I think that's when he's in those plaid pajamas.
Yeah, that's when
he's working out in episode 3.
And then he working out and he sipped a Gatorade. He's like, kamikaze. Because they like Rodman was crazy, dog. Because when they were showing clips of him partying in Vegas, they kamikaze and taking shots and going ham. I'm talking about.
Oh my God.
I don't know if y'all ever party. I've been through my little party phase in my 20s or whatever, and we party, but not like a rich person, like that's in Vegas.
Rich people
like
party
he's an
differently.
athlete with no cap on his finances.
Nothing,
He
right.
just like give him the card, like, hey, it's
not
open.
even a card. It's me, Dennis Rodman.
It's Dennis Rodman. Whatever. And they drinking and partying, so he probably got the super duper hangover, and he's in the gym in the Bulls practice facility,
In his
in a
pajamas.
t-shirt with some pajamas and like some slides. Back then, some Crocs. You know what I'm saying? Like the 90s version
like
of Crocs.
slippers, really.
Yeah, like some house shoes, bro. And he just sitting there at the machine like he lifting weights or whatever. And then he puts he stopped lifting weights. He's probably drinking water, Gatorade or whatever. And he just peeks over to the camera like, kamikaze. Like, the dude was wild, bro.
So he says something like he liked to party, but that he cared about winning.
Yeah.
So yeah, he had his moments. He had his antics. He had his persona of being this rock star, wild, but
bro.
like it was stated, I think in episode 3. When Chuck Daly had told that other coach,
like
he was like, "You don't put a saddle on
a Mustang,
on
a Mustang."
Was it Mustang? He said,
Yeah.
"Oh, I thought he said Maverick."
No, Phil Jackson named him a Maverick because Phil Jackson wrote the book called
Maverick. Okay, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right,
he was
right.
like, you don't put a saddle on a Mustang.
Yeah,
Mustang is a wild horse.
Right, it's a wild horse.
Yeah.
You just let him be. And I think the teams that had Rodman, they understood that. But I feel like the Bulls.
Nah, I don't think the Spurs understood.
No, they
that.
didn't. No, I would say some of the teams.
The
That
Pistons
had Rodman.
understood it. Well, he wasn't that wild in Detroit yet. So Phil understood it because as we get more into Phil Jackson's backstory, that's how he was able to speak the same language. So Dennis was always, like MJ said, they went and got him. He came back and he's, you know what I'm saying? They're at practice. They had certain drills they had to run. And MJ said, man, Dennis was always on point. Yeah. Even though he'll go off and go on the rock star tangent, when he come back to work, it was work.
It was work.
He was completely dedicated, but he needed those moments to get that out of his system because he was so on point,
Yeah.
and he was such a rebel, he was such a maverick that he needed to go off and, like Phil Jackson said, be autonomous. He needed to go be autonomous sometime because he and that was the beauty of Phil Jackson. A lot of people say, oh, well, Phil just got them rings because he had Michael and Scottie, or because he had Kobe and Shaq, and he had Kobe and Gasol. Bro, you can have as much talent, and I said this in a previous episode. Look at the Nets. Mm-hmm. The Nets had KD, James Harden, Kyrie Irving. They couldn't do nothing. They couldn't even make the playoffs together as a team.
Yeah.
Like, and then if they did make it, they was out in the first round. Like, come on. So talent is just not it. Phil Jackson knew how to accommodate those personalities, those egos. You know, you got MJ, the greatest of all time. So imagine, we'll talk later episodes when they try to, really degrade MJ's character as, oh, he wasn't a good teammate because he cussed her. So what? Man. Toughen up, bro. Y'all men, bro. Y'all men in an athletic arena. Like, shut up. Come on, man. So, but anyway.
It goes into how Phil Jackson and Dennis Rodman kind of grow closer. They go closer to with each other with their love of Native American culture. Right. With Dennis going to school in Oklahoma, which is historically a Native American,
and Phil is from Montana,
right?
Great Falls, Montana,
and he grew up with the Native American culture. Mm-hmm. They grew a kind of bond over that thing, and he they kind of I'm just saying, like, Phil Jackson and Dennis Rodman grew that similarity in their liking for Native American culture. And now the episode goes into a little bit about Phil Jackson's story.
Right.
So like you said, he grew up in Montana. He went to the University of North Dakota.
South
and the
Dakota.
South Dakota?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Oh, no, you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was University of North Dakota. I got it right here.
And the Knicks drafted him second round, right? Mm-hmm. So he was
he was a lot like Dennis. That's
he was
what
a
I
wild
had.
person.
He was back in them days in the 70s. He was a hippie.
Yeah.
He was partying. He was taking the hallucinogens. He was taking, he just exhibited hippie behavior. So he wasn't like the rest. He was outside.
Yeah.
Like Dennis.
Yeah.
That's where he gets that maverick from.
Yeah, he understood Dennis on a different level because at a different time, he was basically who Dennis was as far as antics go.
And he was a great role player. He played his role. He spent 7 seasons with the Knicks. Mm-hmm. They won 2 championships. So Phil already had that hustle play in him. He was long. He was,
Can I just comment on his shoulders?
His shoulders. Yeah.
They're like so wide.
They just
and
straight across like a line.
Yeah,
like,
and they're so
it's like his
prominent.
neck and straight. Like, yeah. Yeah.
2 big old boulders on the side right here, just long. And every time I look at like old Phil Jackson photos when he was, playing younger, and I'm just like, how? Like, it was, I don't know why that always comes to my mind every time I see
his shoulders is like wide.
Yeah.
And,
very wide and very square.
So Phil, he went to, oh man, that's Curtis calling me, sorry. So Phil went to the CBA. Well, he went over to Puerto Rico.
Yes,
he played in the Puerto Rico. I mean, not played, but he coached in the Puerto Rican league over there. It was pretty bad.
Yeah, he's not so much bad. It was that they were very aggressive and
the fan base.
Yeah, and they played like every other day. It was just constant playing basketball, and so they were really you can tell they loved basketball there in Puerto Rico, and shout out to Puerto Rico because they just played
Puerto Rico. Oh,
and so from
Puerto Rico, he goes over and coaches in the CBA. Mm-hmm. So I think he coached the Albany team in New York, somewhere like that.
I forgot the name
of
the team.
And they won the '84 championship, the CBA championship, and that's when he got noticed by Jerry Krause and the Chicago Bulls in '84, and he was on that roster with Stan Albeck as the head coach. And so he basically was with MJ his whole professional career, essentially.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but as a assistant coach.
Yes.
And one of the best things that Phil could do was pick the mind of Tex Winter. Tex Winters was another assistant coach who was like a genius as far as he developed the triangle offense.
Yes.
As Phil explains the triangle offense, when you make a certain pass, there's different dynamics out of that pass that really highlights a superstar's, strengths. Abilities and their strengths, and there's plays to it. Whether you want to pass, move the ball, it moves the defense. You can, and it's really based on read and react. Yeah. It's you have to do this and that. It's like read the defense, react, move the ball, whatever. And when you see the diagram,
whatever. It's always a triangle somewhere.
Yeah, you have to. In order for you to really understand how the triangle offense was really like important and impactful, especially to those them 6 championships, you have to really kind of understand the X's and O's.
Yeah.
And so Tex Winter was an X and O specialist. That's what he was. So
but Doug Collins didn't want to implement.
Yeah, because Doug Collins was the coach now. Now stand all back. He's out of there. Now you got Dougie. Dougie comes in there, and Dougie hates Tex Winter.
Yeah.
Like he can't stand him.
He don't want to hear
nothing about this triangle offense. And in Doug Collins' defense, dude, you got Michael Jordan. You see how this kid is so great.
Yeah.
You see how great he is. So you're trying to develop your offense around him. And it's basically a 1-4 ISO type offense, where you give it to Mike and like he said, everybody get out the way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, but that Tex Winter style, that was the move. So that put a rift between Doug Collins and the assistant coaching staff, where Tex Winter wasn't even allowed in the practice facility, on the floor. He had to be up like in the bleachers, taking notes
But who was there whatever. With Tex Winters?
Right.
When Doug Collins didn't want to hear it.
Phil was right there, man. Yes, and Phil soaked all that knowledge in, and he became a believer. Now, when they fired Dougie, MJ was ticked off because MJ like, hey, he just got us to the Eastern Conference Finals last year.
Right.
Now we're in that 89-90 season. So the Jordan 5s, the metallic 5s coming back. Let's go. So we're in that season where the Jordan 5s, and he's like, dude, he loved Doug Collins because Dougie was getting him the ball.
Right.
And like, he was like, the triangle offense, it's moving the ball,
right,
and it's highlighting your other teammate's strength, so the focus won't be solely on him. Which, in hindsight, you look back, it's like that's wonderful, that's great for MJ.
Right.
But at that time, that moment, he young,
Yeah. He even stated he's like, I don't want to give Cartwright
the
ball with 5 seconds
why
left.
Cartwright got the ball with 5 seconds left? That ain't offense. That's horse manure. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like, and no shot at Cartwright. Cartwright played his role. He was a great center for the time that he was there. But it was just, like, hey, Cartwright ain't the scorer.
No,
and then he said Tex Winter would come at him like, hey, MJ, move the ball, pass the ball. It ain't no iron team. He was like, well, it's a win in that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's an iron win. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, he didn't buy into the triangle offense immediately.
No. So July 10th, 1989, Jackson becomes the Bulls head coach.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going into the 89-90 season, right? There was an initial pushback and adjustment, obviously, with the new coach. They just went to the Eastern Conference Finals, and, Doug Collins and the way he coached and all this kind of stuff. So, of course, there's going to be some type of pushback and adjustment, right?
Right.
So, but the more that they practiced with that triangle offense,
MJ bought in because he seen it.
They seen how much it blossomed them, and it really highlighted Scottie Pippen's position.
Right. So that's when Scottie developed that point forward.
Yeah.
That we're used to seeing now. That you've seen Grant Hill master, you see LeBron master it, you see different ones master that point forward position. So Scottie is the originator of that, and it was because of the triangle offense.
Yeah. So
and it took a load off MJ. MJ didn't have that load of averaging 37 a night. Like, dude averaged 37.
Yeah.
In a time where 3 balls wasn't like that.
Yeah.
So you gotta think, man.
That's a lot. So someone stated that it took about a year for them to fully accept the triangle offense. So now that we go into that 1990.
So they back
playoffs.
To the Eastern Conference Finals again against the Pistons.
They push it to Game 7. Yep. And what's Game 7 of the 1990?
I don't know. I mean, Scottie had a migraine. Scotty had a migraine.
But we know.
I mean, what you want me to do? Scotty had a migraine.
We know
Look,
as the
as a
migraine
Jordan
game.
fan, and I'm just a fan. You feel me? Like I'm no NBA athlete, but I don't care. He choked, bro.
Yeah,
Scotty choked, man. That was a choke job, but it's cool, bro. It's like no, it's not cool, but at the same time, it was just like whatever, man.
Yeah,
The Pistons.
It was what it was, right?
The Pistons
you
beat
couldn't
them.
do nothing. They went on, and that's when the Pistons won their second in their back-to-back.
Yep, that was the Trailblazers. They beat Vinnie Johnson, hit the shot with 0.7 left, 0.7, so you should say 007 back in the day. Back-to-back bad boys that day.
After that, after the playoffs are done, it's vacation time. What they call now going to Cancun, right?
1, 2, 3.
Cancun. So but instead, what do? They go to the gym immediately.
Yeah.
And
So B.J. Armstrong said that right after the game. Jordan shook their hands. He shook their hands, guys, and he even spoke to the reporter. And then he went to the locker room.
Of them
he spoke highly of them. Then he went to the locker room, and like he said on the bus, he was devastated. He cried. His dad was there, told him, "Hey, And then BJ said the day after, the whole team was in the gym. Not a week after, not after the summer's over. They gonna go to Cancun and be with P. Diddy and all. No, I had to throw that in there, y'all. So, but they really went right into the gym.
Yeah.
Immediately, right after that.
So,
and it just bothered MJ that he wasn't the narrative of MJ back then. I remember this as a kid because I used to get teased with this in school. The narrative was, all he can do is score points.
Right.
He's just a scorer. He's selfish. He's a ball hog. That was the whole thing with MJ. MJ was a ball hog. That was the narrative back then in the 90s, early 90s, and throughout his career before he won championships. So it bothered him that he wasn't in that ilk with Magic, with Larry. You know what I'm saying? So he said it. He said it bothered him. So that fueled him. Again, guys, look at stuff that can fuel you in your journey. Use that and tap into something internally in you and let that fuel you to get you to that next step, to motivate you to, whether it's as simple as a weight loss journey. As simple as I want to get a different type of job. I don't want to work here. I want to work here now. But I need to, in order for me to get here to here, I need to do this. Focus. And that's what he did, man. And they hit the gym hard.
Yeah, and his teammates were like, they seen a change in Jordan at that time. Jordan decided that he needed more weight training. He was tired of getting beat up. He was tired of, he said he grew up being skinny, lanky, type of body, what he looked like. And he put that weight on, right?
Yep. Tim Grover, too, his trainer. To see Tim Grover, talk about it and relive it.
Yeah, you can see that.
You can see the emotion. Yeah. And this is a grown man. We ain't talking about no kid. This is a grown man. You can see the emotion, his eyes are welling up a little bit because that's motivation. That's greatness, bro. Yeah. And he was a part of that.
Yeah.
So imagine how emotional that can be for him. But to see, like Horace Grant, because MJ stepped up his intensity.
That's what I was going to say. He stepped up not only for himself, but for his teammates.
Now, he put himself up there, but now he's pulling them with him. Hey, I'm doing it. Y'all got to do it.
Right.
And that's a leader.
Yes.
A leader is not being cool with somebody and just, hey man, the whole LeBron thing where they talk about, D Wade, Chris Bosh, come on, y'all. No, bro. LeBron make everybody better. How? Because he passed on the ball in certain areas. Yeah, they scored a basket. But what does this do?
Right.
If I'm in the gym and I'm busting my and I get y'all to be on the same regiment that I'm on, that makes you better.
Yeah.
That makes you a better player.
Exactly.
That makes you a killer mentally.
And it just does something to the psyche to see the leader of your team.
Right. And he doing it. It's like, why I got to do it.
Putting in that work too, because he's not just talking about it. He's being about it. Yeah. And he's like, look, if I'm going to be great, I am great. Y'all going to be great with me because this is a team, So put your bootstraps on. let's go. Let's hit this gym.
Put your big boy pants on. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
In 91, that
they came
season,
in 90, 91
they
with
came
a vengeance.
in, what they were 61-21. They came in that season like, boom. Now, back in the 90s, bro, what y'all don't understand, for a team to win 60 games, that was a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was a big deal. I remember the Lakers went like 63-19 a couple times. You know, there was a couple teams that hit 60, but back in the early 90s, man, they go 61. And it's like, I knew it, bro. I knew it, man. I remember that year, and I'm like, this is our year. This is it, man, because MJ was on a whole nother level.
Yeah.
So I think I took some stats down. So, you know, they get to the 91 playoffs, man.
So Eastern Conference Finals.
Eastern Conference Finals against
the Pistons.
The bad boy Pistons. It's redemption time. They beat us in Game 7. Scotty choked. Scotty knew he choked.
Yeah.
And Scotty even was a different animal this year. This was the year that Scotty knew, like, hey, I'm great too.
Yeah.
You know, it ain't just MJ. I'm great too.
Yeah.
And that's when the triangle offense, they all bought into it, and it really helped Scotty the most. Like BJ Armstrong said in the documentary, it helped Scotty the most because he was already naturally athletic. He's 6'8", 6'9".
Yeah.
He can jump out the gym. He can play D. He had a nice jump shot. He can handle the ball. He can pass. So it really brought Scotty up to Mike. You know, got him on that.
Right.
And then they, like MJ said, they pulled Horace along with him. Horace was a whiner though. Like Horace would whine. You see one part of the episode, I think it was James Edwards. He catches a rebound, elbows out just like a big man supposed to, spun
and he's like,
hit.
oh.
He was like, oh. So it was crazy.
We're in the Eastern Conference Finals,
Yep.
right? Bulls won. Bulls win Game 2. Bulls win Game 3.
That's bringing
So
the
Game
little broom
4.
out that day.
So when Pippen, they stated in Game 4, when Pippen got flagrantly fouled by Rodman.
And mind you, they was beating the brakes off the Pistons so bad, and their mind games wasn't working no more.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Their mind games, but before that, their mind wasn't working. Their mind games weren't working no more, and MJ was more physical.
Yeah, and
there was a time where MJ, which being so agile and athletic, he would try to avoid contact. Now they showed a clip, him driving to the basket, and Lambeer fouled him hard, but MJ just like bounced off and won. Like, like he was different, bro. He was different mentally and physically. Yeah. So they were ready, and he was jumping in people's face like in Game 1, like, yep, it's on. He knew he couldn't wait to play the Pistons. Yeah. And he knew his squad was with him because he knew the work that they all put in previous to, that whole year. That was their focus. We going to win a championship.
Right.
And
so going back to Game 4, Pippen doesn't react to the way
Rodman tried to hurt
him, right?
Yeah.
And you can see him. He's sitting right there. He's sitting on the sideline. He's chewing his gum, and he's just like in the zone, right?
He gets up.
And they're interviewing the Pistons. I think Isaiah at this time.
No, John Southern.
And he's like, that's when we knew
it was over. He was like, he didn't want a Band-Aid. He didn't want nothing. He just got up. And you could see the Bulls bench get up because MJ was on the bench at that time during that part of the game. And you could see all the bench kind of get up and walk. And then they see Pippen get up. It's like, hey.
Oh, that's it.
It's it. And Scotty was the player of the game that game. So that was Scotty's redemption from the migraine game. Yeah. And he knew it. And it was in the Palace. Game 7 migraine game was in the Palace. This was the same old Pistons.
Yeah.
And then, too, Nick Wrong, who is Nick Wright. His government name is Nick Wright. That's
Nick Wrong.
what he's FS1. This dude is Nick Wrong, okay? He talking about, the Bulls just beat the Pistons because they were... Dude, shut your mouth. Like, stop trying to degrade someone's accolades that you could never do. Yeah. You could never do it, bro. You could never do it. You will never, on any level, win a championship in organized basketball, Nick Wright. Yeah. So stop trying to degrade what a man has done and change hope for kids, for the entire nation, the entire world. He made basketball a global game. Kids across in Spain somewhere jumping with their tongue hanging out, want to be like Mike. And you sit here and talk, he only won because they was old. Like, how dare you, bro? Like that gets me going.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff gets me going, bro, because it's like, dog, you're not the least bit athletic. You know what I'm saying? Like, all you did in your life, you look like the Tom Green. Daddy, would you like some sausage? Looking like Tom Green and the backwards man, and you sit here and write about what other people do and you couldn't do it. Now, granted, I'm talking about you. You feel me? I'm not talking about athletes. Yeah. These athletes, and I am an athlete. And he don't want to see me right now. At the age I'm at right now, I'll give Nick Wright that work on the court. Like, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, he was just that kind of talk is ridiculous. It's juvenile.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have anything to resort to. Right. So I have to pull this guy down and try to get ignorant people to overlook what he's done to lift this guy up. That's an agenda.
Why can't they both?
Why they both can't be great.
Exactly.
It's just that this one ain't as good as this one.
That's it.
That's it. Like, Nike is a great product. Adidas is a great product. New Balance is a great product. Saucony is a great product.
But Nike
and Jordan brand are on a different level. Like,
that's okay.
It's
People
okay.
Don't want to accept that though.
They don't want to accept that. I got a bunch of Jordans. I got some Saucony. I got some Asics. I got some Adidas. I got Reebok. I got, you know what I'm saying? They all great products. But Jordan brand and Nike is the best.
Yeah.
So with that being said, so we get it right. I'm on my soapbox. I don't care. Nick Wright, what you want? Bring it.
So now there's 7.9 seconds left in Game 4 in the Eastern Conference Finals.
This makes me sad. Like, if y'all seen our episode with Buck, the Malice in the Palace, that was a low point for Detroit, bro.
Yeah. What happens? Let's tell the people what happened at 7.9 seconds.
Isaiah Thomas, dog, and my granny used to love Zeke. Oh, Isaiah, Zeke. And Zeke was cold, bro. Isaiah Thomas was cold, bro. But Isaiah, you listen to Bill Laimbeer? Laimbeer always been a hater.
Out of all people you could have listened to.
Laimbeer always been a hater, bro.
Yeah. Like,
Laimbeer is a hater to the core. Even when Laimbeer was coaching the Detroit Shock and they won like 4-5 championships under his reign, which, hey, salute to Laimbeer for being a great women's coach. But Laimbeer, he was a role player. He had a jump shot. He was not athletic at all. He was a hater. He was a hater. And Isaiah listened to him. Isaiah, you're the face. You're the face of Detroit. When Laimbeer comes to you and say, let's just walk off the court. Let's not even shake their hands and it's time left.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go. And then the way Isaiah did it so lame. He walks past with his head down.
Putting his head down. Because he knew he was wrong.
And then, he knew it. And then got the nerve to say, that's just how it was done. When you lose, you leave the court. No, you don't. That was the lamest thing.
He tried to say that when they beat
the
Boston,
Celtics did it.
It's like, okay,
so look, what if they did it?
Like when we were watching it, like I said, so what if they did it? Let them do it. Why do you have to do it?
That's poor sportsmanship, bro. I don't care how you slicing it. And it made me, it's a low point in Detroit sports. Those are the two things in Detroit sports that I hate being a Detroiter. Born and raised in Detroit, and I love my city. I ain't never want to be from Chicago. I just love Michael Jordan. That was it. I love my city. But at the end of the day, the Malice in the Palace incident and the walk off the court with time still left without sportsmanship because you got swept, and y'all the back-to-back champs. Y'all just tainted everything. The league didn't like us anyway because they were the bad boys.
Right.
They weren't pretty. Like Isaiah said, they weren't invited to the party. They popping up like, what up, though?
Yeah.
But for them to walk off like that, I don't care who you is. You from Detroit, you can't respect that. So you can't argue with me on that. So
Jordan says that beating the Pistons was in some ways better than winning
the championship because of the hurdle. They put a whooping on that dude for years, man.
Man, for anybody, Jordan, whoever, to say that beating them was better than winning a championship.
Yeah, man.
Being the best of the best, and you say beating this team was better than that?
Yeah. That's deep.
That just shows you how deep
that's
ran.
Deep.
And, they kind of do a little a little interview with Isaiah, and they talk about, knowing what we know now, we would have done stuff differently. And before they even showed that clip to Jordan
he even said it. He was like, he gonna change it now because he see how people react to it. Yeah,
and
that's the first thing he said.
But like he said, look, I don't care. Y'all don't have to shake our hands. Y'all can just
you go ahead. We whooped y'all, and you know it. So now. Understand this too. MJ been with the Bulls when I just got through talking about the Stan Albeck Bulls with Dave Corzine and Orlando Woolridge and all these role nobody players. Mm-hmm. Jordan comes on this team. They're like 33 and 32 and 50. They first year get to the playoffs, get eliminated. You know what I'm saying? They get to the playoffs the next year. The Celtics eliminate them. Every year he made the playoffs. But now he's in the finals.
Yes, he's in the finals.
Never been to the finals. So 91 finals. So just to keep things in perspective, in the playoffs in 91, in the playoffs in 91, MJ averaged 31, 8 drops. When I say drops, it's assists for you non-basketball people. 8 drops and 6 boards, 6 rebounds in the 91 playoffs. All right? So that's amazing numbers. Yeah. Those are amazing. He gets to the finals.
Yeah.
Pay attention. He gets to the finals. MJ averaged 31. Same. He kept the scoring the same. 11 assists, bro. 6 rebounds, 2.8 steals, 1.4 blocks. In the finals. Ugh. 31 and 11. But then you got guys like Nick Wright. Again. Oh, they just beat the Lakers because they were old. James Worthy was their leading scorer. Like James Worthy was a bum. Nick Wright, I wish, bro, if I ever was on the same platform with him, I don't care how much schooling he got, how much TV practice or rehearsal he has, and dude, I will verbally assassinate your argument, bro.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make any sense for you to say things like that. It's like, okay, so you're basically, they were old, and I think the Lakers were 60 and 22 that year, or they won close to 60 games.
I mean, they're in the finals.
They're in the NBA finals, bro.
You don't just get there because you're old. You're old.
That's what I'm saying. The arguments don't make any sense. No. And then when people say stuff like, I seen the clip the other day. It's a guy, he says, a young guy asks an older guy, like in my generation, he says, who do you think is better, MJ or LeBron? Of course, the guy that's in my generation says MJ. Mm-hmm. And he's like, no, LeBron. The young guy's like, LeBron this and LeBron that. He makes his teammate better. How? That's just a narrative. That's just things they say. They don't have no backup. Like, how do you back that up?
Yeah.
How do you say that I made them better? Yeah. By losing in the final 6 times? By making it, you the best second place winner, that's making your team better because you took a team of bums to the finals. That's making them better. Like, what are we really talking about, right? So that got to support an argument of a loser. Mm-hmm. That's a loser argument.
Yeah,
I didn't win as much as this guy, but I made them better. That's loser mentality. I don't want to hear that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he says, oh, LeBron is a better passer than MJ. Hold on a minute. As a career, now we're talking about averages.
Yeah.
As a career, LeBron averages I think like 7.5 assists, somewhere in there, as a career. MJ averages like 5.5 assists. So he's that much better of a passer. He's like,
I mean, your average is going to change if you're playing 20 years.
You average 1 assist more than him, and you're that much better of a passer?
And you've played 7 years longer?
Come on, man. I can't.
Okay.
And it's like, guys, y'all understand where I stand with this, man.
We're LeBron haters.
Yeah. According to y'all, I'm a LeBron hater, whatever. y'all can say what you want. I'm just a realist. I just don't go for the feces. Jordan averaged 5.3 assists for his career. And LeBron, I'm going to pull that up. LeBron James. Because I hate this argument. Oh, he was such a great passer. LeBron averaged for his career, who is still playing.
Stockton was a great passer.
Yeah. But they say LeBron the best passer ever.
Okay.
That's what people say.
Okay.
So as his career, he averaged 7.3. So with him averaging 2 more assists than MJ, I don't even think that's accurate. I think that's off of just NBA.com. That's currently this year. So, but anyway, you guys, my thing is.
Long story short, no, there's no comparison.
There's no comparison. Man.
There it is.
If you can have your own.
You can like
favorite
LeBron
player.
better than MJ
Right.
any day of the
can.
week, but don't try to make the argument that he's better than MJ.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that people would say who is better as far as like career better.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, no, you're not a career. Your career, 7.3. So he averaged 2 more assists than MJ.
But
so that makes him a greater passer.
He's been playing twice as long, so it's like.
And MJ accomplished way more
in a
shorter period of time. Like that don't make sense.
Okay,
it's like,
so let's reel it back in.
Whatever. Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry.
Let's go to the finals versus the Lakers, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see a shot of their infrared sixes when they talking about this, which was nice.
Yes, sir.
It was nice. So Lakers win game 1. Yep. Everybody writes some pools up. Oh,
I remember that too. Everybody like, MJ gonna lose to Magic. I'm like, all right.
What happens
Keep
next?
that same energy.
The Bulls
what happened next?
4 in a row.
He went like this, and then he was like, oh, no, hold on.
Right, let me switch it to the other hand.
Let me put it over the left. That's what he did to him.
So they win 4 straight. They win their first championship.
Yep.
They win their first champion in 91 versus the Lakers. And Magic says if he was going to lose, he'd rather lose.
And he said that live.
Yeah. He'd rather
this wasn't hindsight,
like
20 years later. He said that live after the game in L.A.
Yeah.
They won that joint at the Forum.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's great. And so now they win the championship. Everything's all good.
Kind of circle back to Magic real quick. I don't mean to interrupt, but when Magic, one thing that I love about Magic and why he's my number 2 on the GOAT list, me personally, is because Magic even said that MJ met with him in the hallway.
Yeah, I was
and
about to
he
get
just
to
hugged him, and Magic celebrated with him because Magic knew how much that meant to him.
Yeah.
And that showed a mutual respect. They probably wasn't best friends and had dinner every day and talk on the phone every day, but you can tell even to this day, Magic and Mike, MJ and Magic have a mutual respect for each other because MJ don't say nothing to nobody about nothing basketball.
Yeah.
But when Steph Curry was saying he the greatest point guard of all time, MJ had to speak up on that. Like, hold on, bro. Hold on, little guy. Hold on, Tiger.
You kind of see.
You hold on, Tiger.
People's careers kind of take a hit when they say stuff outlandish like that.
Yeah, it's just this generation, bro. It's like you have to promote yourself beyond everybody else in this generation, right. And it's like, it's confidence, and you should feel that way. But when you say it, you're being disrespectful. You're being haughty.
That stuff out.
Come on, man. You can't. This dude got again. My whole argument with anybody want to say something about Magic, this dude got a Finals MVP as a rookie.
Yeah.
Holla at me.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like who?
Rookie.
Who?
Right.
Not LeBron, not Mike. No. Oh, well, he played with the Lakers and, Kareem. Well, Kareem was hurt in the finals. Yeah. Who gets the Finals MVP, bro? This dude played positions 1 through 5.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Right. So, now, like I was saying, there was everybody celebrating. They won the championship. He meets with Magic in the middle of the hallway.
And he just gets emotional and just kind of releases.
Right. You have that famous picture when he's hugging the trophy and he's crying. His dad is right there. Struggle. And so I think what touched me the most during the documentary in this episode was when Phil Jackson is giving Michael Jordan a hug. And he's like tapping him on the back.
And he finally just released.
And he said, you did it the right way.
Yeah.
You did it the right way. And what was the right way? Him passing, him not being selfish with the ball, him trusting his teammates.
Him buying into the system.
Going all them times in the gym. All that redemption that, he must have felt. All that leading up to this very moment. And Phil Jackson recognized his hard work by telling him, you did it the right way.
That's dope.
Oh,
That's dope.
chills talking about it right
chills,
now.
Man.
Oh,
That's
my
chills.
God. So they, people were talking about that year and giving different interviews. I forgot to write down who said he was the win at all cost Jordan this year. Win at all cost. And to Jordan, that meant, the ability to have the ball all the time. He didn't need to do that.
Yeah. And he still averaged over 30.
So it was great. So now this is it. This is that's not. So now they fast forward to January of 1998, right? And now it's starting to come out. Really, the rift between Krause and Phil Jackson.
Yeah,
it's starting to become more prominent now.
Yeah, it's well, at this time in '98, it's already
but right now the media is taking it to a different level.
Right, because it started '97.
Right, so now it's getting closer to we're about to get to the All-Star break. They were 34-15 at the All-Star break, the Bulls, and with Krause and Phil and they're going butting heads and all the Krause, what he's saying to the media and
even if they win 82 games,
Jordan just basically he's just gonna have to play for
somebody
somebody else.
How do you say that? Like, all right, Jerry Krause is not amongst the living anymore. But out of respect, he's not here to defend himself or whatever. But how in the world do you say to Michael Jordan or to anybody on that team, you got 5 rings because of number 23, my guy? How do you tell him, well, if MJ gonna go play for somebody else, he's just gonna go play for somebody else? Like, you can replace that.
Like,
what is wrong with you? That's that ego little man Napoleon complex. Just like, come on, bro. That's not smart, bro.
So for the sake of time, that's how the episode ends.
That's how it ends.
And that's episodes 3 and 4.
So that's episodes 3 and 4. I think we covered it pretty good, man. We took some good notes.
Yeah.
And I think we dove into it pretty deeply, And I just think it's my favorite documentary of all time.
Yeah.
I love this documentary. I love documentaries that really highlight times and eras that I actually witnessed live. Mm-hmm. To be able to reflect back that nostalgia, to bring back, remember sitting in front of the TV as a kid, that kind of stuff. It really, it gets me going. It's like, yes.
And I didn't witness Jordan in his early years. Mm-hmm. I didn't witness those times. And I didn't really get into basketball like that until the Kobe years, right? Mm-hmm. Kobe and Shaq. So looking at these documentaries truly puts things in perspective. Mm-hmm. And even if you weren't a Jordan fan and I watched those documentaries, I would still feel the way that I feel. So I just want to make it clear that he doesn't influence me.
So if I was a bronsexual, if I was a Broniac, a LeBroniac,
I would still hate LeBron to this day. I hated him when he won his first championship. Oh my God, I hated it.
Don't say you hate LeBron. Stop saying that, because then people ain't gonna listen to our podcast no more. Oh, they hate LeBron. She said it. They just gonna get that one piece of soundbite. Like, she hates LeBron. LeBron, look, she hates you.
I respect his game. I just don't like his antics.
I share her sentiments. I think LeBron is one of the greatest players ever to play the game, but I hate his antics, bro.
Anyways.
You don't hate LeBron.
I don't hate LeBron like that, but I don't like LeBron like that.
Hey, she likes Savannah. You like Savannah, don't you?
Look, I'm all for women, okay?
Yeah.
You go girl Savannah. Boss. Let's girl boss out here. So anyways, that was it. That's episodes 3 and 4. Let's wrap it up here. I think
we're gonna wrap it up, guys. We just trying to have a little fun. We're just having a little fun with it, man. To all y'all out here that listen and that supports us, it's not about us, trying to step on toes.
No, we're not.
We want to do the right thing. And if I hurt your feelings by talking about LeBron,
not sorry.
I'm sorry that I'm not sorry. But it's not personal.
No, it's not.
Don't take it personal. My view and my perspective is mine.
Yeah.
So just like if somebody that grew up in the 2000s, that was born in 2000, and they got up on LeBron James and they feel like LeBron is the best thing since sliced bread.
It's a generational thing.
I get it. It's definitely generational. But when you got media personalities pushing an agenda, and then you got people trying to take away from the greatness and tear it down,
that's where I have a problem.
That's my disconnect.
Yeah.
That's where I come in like, that's not. We not going. Y'all got the LeBron protectors. I'm the MJ guy. I'm the guy that's like, no, bro, you're not gonna dog my guy out, bro. That's my hero even to this day as a 40-plus-year-old man. That's my hero. So all
right, well, that'll
do it, guys. So
thank you
guys for tuning in, for listening, for watching. Remember, every single Monday, 9 a.m. is a new episode. So this one will be aired Monday at 9 a.m. I just repeated myself. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Remember, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube where you can visually see us and tap in with us, man. Appreciate you guys. We love you. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe. Appreciate you. We'll see you on the next episode next Monday. Y'all have a good rest of the week, man. Love you guys.
Peace.
Peace.